How's it going, everybody? As you can tell by the title, I'm going to be going over the top five free agents remaining and where I think they will be signing. And as spring training gets started, I thought it'd be a good time to make this video. Teams are going to be wanting to solidify their roster prior to the regular season starting up. So, without further ado, let's get started. Um, I just want to say none of these are in a particular order. It's just the guys that I believe are the top five available. So we're going to start with Cody Bellinger. Um, I believe he will re-sign with the Cubs. I just think that's what makes the most sense at this point. I feel like if he was going to go somewhere else, it probably would have already happened. Obviously, he had a very good season with them last year, comeback player, after being very bad the last couple seasons. So I think he'll want to go back. I think that's the best fit for him right now. Um, I did list the Phillies as a backup option. Um, I think they could always use another outfielder considering their defense with Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber. They do have Brandon Marsh, who will probably play center field again, but it doesn't hurt to add a guy like Cody Bellinger, better defender than Schwarber and Castellanos combined. So, and obviously had a very good season at the plate last season. So, I think ultimately he'll end up back in Chicago. All right, next up, I've got Blake Snell. I believe he'll sign with the Angels. I think it makes a lot of sense. They lost Shohei Ohtani, obviously. Um, they need a true ace, and Blake Snell is exactly that, coming off of Cy Young. Um, so essentially, they still want to be competitive. They're probably not going to be competitive this year, but a guy like Blake Snell would certainly help with that. They have a lot of young guys coming up. Zach Neto, Nolan Chanel, um, Logan O'Hoppe. They have a number of guys who can um, contribute to this year's team. I don't think it's going to equal a lot of wins, but obviously they still have Mike Trout. So it might be crazy saying that Blake Snell is going to help them be a playoff team when they haven't done it with Trout or Ohtani. So I just think that this makes a lot of sense. I think they obviously want to still be competitive, so I think this would help with that. Um, I listed the Brewers as a number two option. This one might be a stretch considering they don't like to spend money, but I think Blake Snell could certainly just sign a short term deal, whether it's a 1 or 2 year deal. I think that would make a lot of sense. I don't know that the Brewers would even be willing to give him a longer deal than that, just because they don't have enough money to pay him. Um, Obviously, they traded away Corbin Burns, non-tendered Brandon Woodruff, traded away Adrian Hauser. That's three starters, and two of them are very good starters that are not going to be on the team next year. So as of right now, the starting rotation is looking very thin behind Freddie Peralta. Obviously, we got DL Hall from the Orioles trade. We'll see if he makes the rotation. He could end up in the bullpen. You signed Jacob Junis, Joe Ross. You got Wade Miley back. So it's a lot of veteran guys. Nothing crazy after Freddie Peralta, but I think Blake Snell would certainly boost that rotation, especially with the offense that the Brewers built over this offseason with the additions of Reese Hoskins and Gary Sanchez and guys like that. So I don't think that's very likely, but it certainly is possible. And ultimately, I think he ends up with the Angels. Next, I've got Matt Chapman heading to the San Francisco Giants. Obviously, there's a number of reasons that this makes sense. Um, the Giants need a star player like that. They haven't been able to get star players, whether it was Judge, Carlos Correa, Shohei Ohtani, Yamamoto. All those guys the Giants went after and weren't able to land any of them. Now, Matt Chapman's not on the level of any of those guys, but I think he would be a solid um, second option to them, and ultimately he would certainly help out their lineup. He has connections to Bob Melvin, their new manager, from his time in Oakland with the A's. Um, but yeah, I think this is a perfect fit. Um, I think it would work out very well. The Giants are trying to be competitive, compete with the Dodgers. The Padres took a step back, so that would certainly help the Giants propel themselves in the division. They're likely sitting at third right now behind the Diamondbacks and then the Dodgers, obviously. But the Giants adding Matt Chapman would certainly help. Um, he's a very good third baseman defensively. He's a solid hitter as well. He had his very hot stretches in Toronto last season. So if he can put together one full season like that, I think he'd be very good for the Giants. I did list the Blue Jays as a backup option. I don't really see any other true fits for him other than the Giants. So I think going back to Toronto could certainly be a possibility. Not exactly sure who they would have starting at third base for them right now. I'm sure they'd love to have Matt Chapman back. So I think if he doesn't end up in San Francisco, Toronto is where he's headed. So I do believe he will end up a Giant. I think it's inevitable. Next, I've got Jordan Montgomery headed to the Boston Red Sox. I think they certainly need another rotation piece. They traded away Chris Sale. Um, they signed Lucas Giolito, but honestly, they could use another guy or two. Um, I think they've been trying to shed some payroll with Kenley Jansen and potentially Jaron Duran as well. So I think that potentially shedding that payroll is to sign a guy like a Jordan Montgomery, and I think it would be a perfect fit. Obviously, they traded away Chris Sale, which is a lefty. Jordan Montgomery's a lefty, so it essentially fill that Chris Sale role. Um, I mean, at this point in his career, I think Jordan Montgomery is probably better than Chris Sale. So I think that would be a pretty good addition for the Red Sox. For my second option, I had him going back to the Rangers. Obviously, he pitched very well for them down the stretch and in the postseason and the World Series. I think he would love to go back to the Rangers. The Rangers certainly could use him at this point. They have a ton of injuries. DeGrom, Scherzer. I think there's one more guy that I'm missing, but they have a number of guys starting the season on the IL. So their rotation to start the year is going to be a little iffy. It's not going to be till probably mid June, mid July, maybe that they get those guys back. So having Jordan Montgomery for a full season would help keep that rotation stable and keep the team in it until they get back. So I think either of those teams would make a good fit. I would pick Boston as number one, um, and I do think that's where he'll end up. All right, and for my fifth and final free agent, I have JD Martinez returning to the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was there a couple years ago, put up some ridiculous numbers in about half a season after he was traded there at the trade deadline. Um, I think the Diamondbacks would love to have him back. There's been rumors that they're looking for another right-handed hitter. I think he'd be a perfect fit at DH. Obviously, he can hit in that stadium. He hit like 29 homers in 62 games, I believe, back in 2017. So that would be a perfect fit there. And obviously, he's still in division against the Dodgers if there's any motivation there. Um, but there also have been some rumors and connections to him and the Mets. There's rumors that there was a deal that was going to get done, and then now there's rumors that they're far apart on a deal, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Obviously, he would make sense in New York as well, considering their DH situation with whoever it's going to be. Right now, I believe it's projected to be DJ Stewart, which obviously JD Martinez is significantly better than him, even as a 36-year-old. He put up very good numbers with the Dodgers last year, and I think he would be a perfect fit for the Mets. But I do have him heading to the Arizona Diamondbacks. All right, well, that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, share the video with your friends. Drop a like down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And subscribe if you'd like to see some more baseball content. I'll be probably making some more videos prior to the regular season. I'll have some prediction videos coming soon. And then I'll also be sprinkling in some NFL offseason videos. So if you would like to see any of that, subscribe. And until next time, go Brewers.